In a quiet village nestled at the edge of a dense forest, there lived a humble and hard-working shoemaker named Hans. Hans was known throughout the village for his exquisite craftsmanship, creating the finest shoes and boots that anyone had ever seen. However, despite his skill and dedication, times were tough, and his little shop was barely making ends meet. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, Hans sat in his dimly lit workshop, pondering how he could make his business thrive once again. His wife, Anna, sat beside him, her worry lines mirroring his own. "We must find a way to overcome this difficult time," Anna said softly, her voice filled with concern. Hans nodded in agreement. His brow furrowed as he stared at the dwindling pile of leather and the few coins left in their purse. As they talked, the wind outside howled, and the temperature dropped, casting a chill over the room. But Hans and Anna couldn't afford to spare any extra wood for the fire. The next morning, Hans was both surprised and delighted when he entered his workshop. On his work table lay the most splendid pair of shoes he had ever seen, crafted with a level of skill that even he himself couldn't match. He marveled at the intricate stitching, the delicate patterns, and the expert craftsmanship that had gone into making them. "Anna, come quickly," Hans called out to his wife, his voice filled with excitement. Anna rushed into the workshop, her eyes widening in astonishment as she saw the shoes. "Hans, did you make these during the night?" she asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Hans shook his head, a puzzled expression on his face. "I swear, Anna, I did not make these. They appeared here magically." As the days passed, the same miraculous event occurred. Every night, while Hans and Anna slept, the most magnificent shoes were crafted on Hans's work table by unseen hands. The couple's financial worries slowly began to ease as they sold these exquisite shoes, fetching high prices from grateful customers. Curious to discover the identity of their mysterious benefactors, Hans and Anna hatched a plan. One evening, they decided to hide in the workshop and wait to catch a glimpse of the crafty artisans behind the magic. They concealed themselves behind stacks of leather, keeping their eyes peeled for any sign of movement. As midnight approached, the workshop door creaked open, and tiny, graceful figures with pointed ears and delicate features entered the room. They wore clothes made of leaves and petals, and their feet barely touched the ground as they worked. These were the elves of the forest, drawn to Hans's hard work and generosity. The elves chattered amongst themselves in hushed tones as they measured, cut, sewed, and stitched with remarkable speed and precision. Hans and Anna watched in awe as the elves worked their magic, turning plain leather into the finest footwear imaginable. When the shoes were completed, the elves shared a merry laugh and disappeared into the night, leaving Hans and Anna filled with wonder, filled with gratitude for the elves' generosity. Hans and Anna devised a plan to repay their unexpected benefactors. With meticulous care, they crafted the most beautiful clothes and shoes for the elves, leaving them on the work table as a token of appreciation. The next morning, the elves discovered the gifts, and their joy was evident. They danced and sang in the workshop, their laughter echoing through the forest. From that day forward, the elves continued to visit Hans and Anna, their friendship growing stronger with each passing year. The couple's fortunes prospered, and their reputation as skilled shoemakers spread far and wide. And so, the story of the elves and the shoemaker became a cherished tale in the village, a reminder that kindness and generosity can lead to unexpected and magical rewards. The bond between the elves and Hans and Anna endured, serving as a heartwarming reminder that sometimes, in the darkest of times, a little magic and a lot of goodwill can turn everything around.